At first glance, you might think those crazy visions that play out behind your closed eyes are just, well, random. Just fictional scenarios your mind sort of invents while you're fast asleep. But what if they aren't just simple stories? What if the horrors we face in the dark aren't random at all, but actually a direct psychological window into the exact troubles we're desperately trying to ignore during the day? In this exploration, we're going to strip away the fiction. We're going to look at the harsh realities hiding in our darkest dreams and decode exactly what your subconscious is screaming at you.
Okay, let's dive into this because, let's be honest, we've almost all been there. You jolt awake, your heart is just pounding against your ribs, cold sweat on your forehead, and your hands are gripping the sheets like you're literally trying to stop yourself from plummeting off a cliff. The sheer cinematic terror of your own mind suddenly dropping you into the void, it's a massive shock to the system. It feels impossibly real. But why? Why does our brain subject us to this sudden, high-stakes psychological thriller right when we're supposed to be resting and recovering?
To really understand this, we have to look at the research. As clinical social worker and dream specialist Suzanne Bergman notes, dreams are a universal language, often creating elaborate images out of emotional concepts. I want you to really think about that for a second. The nightmare isn't just a scary movie playing in your head, it's a meticulously crafted translation. Your brain is taking raw, unvarnished emotional distress from your waking life and translating it into a highly vivid, terrifying visual language that you simply cannot ignore.
Often, this translation starts with our baseline, everyday stress. You absolutely know these dreams. You're wandering completely lost in a massive labyrinth or some endless faceless building, which represents the crushing mental, financial, or physical burdens overwhelming you. Or you miss a train by a single fraction of a second, a direct mirror to your waking regrets of not jumping on an opportunity in time. Maybe you're driving and suddenly the brakes just completely fail, symbolizing a total lack of control over where your life is heading. Or perhaps you're back in high school, frantically searching for an exam room, completely unprepared for a math test you didn't even know you were taking, highlighting a deep anxiety about the future. These are the mundane anxieties. They're frustrating, they're stressful, but they are just the surface.
But we're moving deeper now. We're leaving the everyday stress of missed trains and failed math tests way behind us. Because when your waking vulnerabilities become too great, the entire architecture of your nightmares shifts. The stakes get way higher, the imagery becomes completely primal, and the fear, it becomes entirely visceral. We are now entering the territory of your deepest, most urgent psychological vulnerabilities. Have you ever dreamt of being relentlessly pursued? Just the sheer visceral panic of running as fast as your legs can possibly carry you, yet feeling like you're trying to sprint through thick molasses? You look back, and something is hunting you. It might be a wild animal, a shadowy figure, or honestly, most terrifyingly of all, an unidentifiable terror that you can't even see, but you can feel its breath on your neck. It is a hallmark dream for those suffering from intense, waking anxiety.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the true identity of that monster in the dark. It isn't real. It's not an external threat at all. The true pursuer is you. Specifically, it represents an unconfronted emotion or a waking situation that you are desperately trying to escape. Your brain is literally visualizing the massive psychological toll of avoidance. Whether you're running from the heavy grief of a loss, the pain of a recent breakup, or just a really difficult conversation you aren't ready to face, until you turn around and confront that emotion in the real world, that shadow is going to keep chasing you in your sleep.
But what happens when the threat isn't behind you? What happens when the threat is actually inside you? You see, when we stop running, the subconscious often forces us to look in the mirror. And this is where the nightmare transitions into absolute bodily horror, the kind of intimate, physical decay that makes your skin crawl and leaves you deeply unsettled long after the sun comes up.
Have you ever experienced this? You walk up to a mirror in your dream, you open your mouth, and you are met with this shockingly gruesome sight. Your teeth are rotting, crumbling into dust, or just falling straight out of your gums into your bare hands, leaving this gaping, bloody hole. It is a highly visceral, incredibly shocking image. It violates our sense of self and our physical integrity in pretty much the most horrifying way possible.
And this brilliantly illustrates the painful reality of deep-seated insecurity. This gruesome imagery, it isn't about your dental hygiene. It points directly to a profound fear of judgment. When your teeth fall out in a dream, your subconscious is holding up a mirror to your own lack of confidence. It's the visual manifestation of feeling unattractive or feeling like you simply aren't measuring up at school, at work, or in your romantic relationships. It's the raw, bleeding fear of being deeply embarrassed and harshly judged by everyone around you, laid totally bare for you to witness.
Okay, so we've faced the pursuer, we've faced the decay. But your mind reserves its most overwhelming, overpowering cinematic imagery for our final vulnerability. This is the climax. This is the moment where all control is stripped away and you are forced to face the sheer, unadulterated abyss.
What about the absolute helplessness of plummeting from the roof of a towering skyscraper, the wind just roaring past your ears as the ground races up to meet you? Or think about the suffocating, overwhelming sensation of sinking into the freezing, pitch-black depths of an endless ocean, unable to breathe, completely unable to swim to the surface. These dreams paint an incredibly intense sensory picture of total defeat. You are plummeting into nothingness. You are being completely swallowed whole, your environment.
So, the crucial point is separating the folklore from the actual psychology. For generations, there's been this widespread, terrifying myth that dreaming of falling or drowning is a dark omen, like a literal prediction of your own impending death. But the reality? It's actually about how you are living, not how you're dying. These terrifying descents indicate a profound feeling of helplessness. They reveal that you are deeply unhappy with your current situation in life. You feel entirely overwhelmed, like the path you're currently walking on has literally dropped out from underneath your feet.
I know the imagery is heavy, but the message doesn't have to be a life sentence. To stop plummeting, to stop rotting, and to stop running, you have to wake up and take control. If you are deeply dissatisfied and overwhelmed, breaking the cycle of these nightmares requires actively carving a new path in your waking hours. It means making new choices. It means confronting that grief. It means building the confidence to be judged and being okay with it. You have to find new meaning and regain your footing in reality so your subconscious no longer has to sound the emergency alarm while you sleep.
Dreams are not just random static, guys. They are the ultimate mirror. Let's move to and see how this builds into our waking lives. I want to leave you with this challenge today. Which of these shadows, the labyrinth, the unseen pursuer, the